All right, second hour of the Brother from Another program. Let's call it a program. Michael Smith is not here today if you're just tuning in. He'll be back in a couple of days, but Thursday, maybe Thursday. Somebody say Thursday. Anyway, inside Brother from Another joke. Here it is. Check out this headline. AFC continues to drain the NFC of talent. And we've talked a lot about this, right? The AFC has made a lot of moves. You know, Russell Wilson to the Broncos, Deshaun Watson to the Browns, the Chargers bringing in Khalil Mack, the Colts bringing in Matt Ryan. I mean, just so many big-time moves in the AFC. The Raiders making a move for Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones to add to Max Crosby already on the roster. And, of course, Von Miller to the Bills. So these are all great moves, right? I'm setting you up for something. I'm going somewhere. Are you ready to argue with me? I was thinking about this the other day. Okay, I'm excited about the AFC. I'm excited about the AFC West in particular. Every team is a good team. There's not a bad team in the AFC West. The Broncos were a bad team last year. I didn't believe in them. They won 7 games. They changed their coach, but more importantly, they changed the quarterback. So they're not a bad team. You're Russell Wilson. You got Russell Wilson as your quarterback. You're not a bad team anymore. So they don't have a single bad team in the conference. I want to see every single AFC West game. Every game. I want to see them all. I'm interested. That being said, I was thinking about the best teams in the NFL. All right, who are the top 5 teams in the NFL? I came up with a list. All right, get ready. Get ready. Here we go. Top 5 teams in the NFL, and number 1 is not an AFC team, and neither is number 2. So I got the Rams, and I'll explain this. I'll show my work here in a second. I got the Rams still as the number 1 team in the NFL. I got the Buccaneers at 2. And if you had asked me for Tom Brady's sabbatical, Tampa Bay is probably in the bottom 5, and now they're in the top 5. What a difference a great quarterback. What a difference a GOAT makes on your roster. Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky, I love you. I love you. I love you, Cincinnati. I was going to put you at number 5 just to be a troll, but being real, being genuine. Cincinnati, Super Bowl runner-ups. Kind of got screwed the fourth quarter of that game. I was right on top of the play, by the way. Right on top of the play at SoFi Stadium. That was not pass interference. Probably should have won the game. Oh, well. But you're number 3 team in the NFL. Buffalo. I love you too, Buffalo. Western New York, my people. I got Buffalo at 4. I don't have Kansas City in the top 5, but Kansas City is probably 6 on my list. But my number 5 is Green Bay. And let me just go 1 through 5. You can tell me what you think of it. And as I said, any suggestions, any complaints, any arguments, just holler at us. It's easy to find us on social media. Somebody is looking at everything that you say about us. Somebody's looking at it, and you will get a chance to respond. We'll talk about it in the comment section. We'll do some comment sections, plural, this week, including one today. But I would say number 1, right? The LA Rams won the Super Bowl, had 1 possession games throughout the postseason, except for that game, the first one over the Cardinals at home. So 1 possession game over the Buccaneers, 1 possession game over the 49ers. They came back at home. Jimmy Garoppolo kind of choked it up in the fourth quarter. And then the game against Cincinnati. They win close games. They have the best defensive player in football in Aaron Donald. They have the best receiver last year, best receiver in football in Cooper Kupp. The quarterback is coming back, Matthew Stafford. 41 touchdown passes, tying a franchise record. They got a young coach, youngest coach to win the Super Bowl, has already been to 2 Super Bowls, and he's not even 40 years old yet. They got their core coming back. They're spending money. They got a philosophy. F them picks. It's the LA Rams. Until somebody can knock them off, I'm saying the Rams, they're running it back. And they add Allen Robinson. To a group that didn't really need anybody else. I know. Odell Beckham Jr. got hurt. Robert Woods traded. But Allen, they add another number one to the number one they had in Cooper Kupp. And we ran the graphic the other day about Robinson. I love this stat about him. The best quarterbacks he's ever played with. The quarterbacks he's had the most attempts. Number one on his list is Blake Bortles. Number two on his list is Mitch Trubisky, or other way around. There's one and two, but that's a 1-2 combination you don't want to have. The quarterbacks that you've had the most run with are Mitch Trubisky and Blake Bortles. And yet, he's a number one. Look at that production. So the Rams, I don't think we're not even going to argue that. Let's just move on. Number two, the Buccaneers. They got better. Now, I was annoyed with Tom Brady trying to, shoot his way out of Tampa. I'm convinced that's what he was trying to do. He thought he could retire on the slick. Oh, I'm retired. Wink, wink, I'm retired. I sure would. Hey, put it out there. Put the story out there. I'd like to play for my hometown team. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Maybe San Francisco will trade for me, and I can get, Garoppolo tried to get me out of New England. I'm going to get Garoppolo out of San Francisco. I'm going to take his job, and I'm going to win a Super Bowl with San Francisco. No. Not happening. They get Brady back, but look who else they got coming back. They got Mike Evans there. Russell Gage, great pickup. They steal Shaq Mason from the Patriots to replace Kappa. I think Mason's a better player than Kappa, even though Kappa was a Pro Bowler last year. And they got Logan Ryan, who played with Brady in New England. So Tampa is right there. The Bengals fixed their offensive line. I'll just say that. They fixed their offensive line. That was the number one issue with them going into the offseason. And they've got two real offensive linemen. I mean, Kappa and Collins are starters. I don't think Ted Karras is a starter, but I think he's a really good swing guy. Can play some guard, can play some center for you. Pick up Hayden Hurst to replace Ujama. Pretty good. And I got B.J. Hill coming back. Buffalo. Man, oh man, oh man. Buffalo had a tremendous, I would say, if I'm ranking the free agents, because I don't count Tom Brady just decided to come back. That's not a free agent comeback. If I'm ranking the free agents on my big board, I say Buffalo had the best free agent signing, clearly, of the offseason. Von Miller, okay, let me say it this way. As I was just saying to Sheil Kapadia. Now, I'm in transition. I'm trying to figure out my philosophy on defenses, great defenses. Now, if you're like me, of a certain age, grew up and you just got used to describing defenses in a certain way. There was such a thing as a shutdown corner. Nobody threw in that direction. I'm talking about you, Deion Sanders. Guy would just take away half the field. That's it. Half the field's taken away. You don't worry about that side of the field. You got to do your business over there. And the defense would just suffocate you. We're talking about those 70s Steelers. We're talking about the Giants and the Bears in the 80s. In the 90s, at times, you had a fast defense like the Cowboys, 2000 Ravens, just like these shutdown defenses. Those defenses don't exist anymore. So now you got to talk about something else when you say a great defense. So Buffalo, on paper, this is our argument. I'm not going to lose this. I'm not going to lose my point on this. I'm not going to give up my position. On paper, Buffalo was a great defense last year. Number one in fewest points allowed in the NFL. And number two was New England, and I think Denver was third. All right, Denver was 7-10. New England, in the playoffs, last two games against Buffalo didn't punt. So number two defense in the league, in two games against Buffalo didn't punt. Let me say it one more time. Okay. Let me just make this point. Number two defense in the league, fewest points allowed, great defense on paper, but they played Buffalo twice. The last 2 games against Buffalo, Buffalo did not punt. And the number 1 defense in football, sorry, I'm about to compliment you, but we got to tell truth first, right? We got to be truth tellers before we get to the compliment. Number 1 defense in football, 13 seconds left, you know what happened. Your number 1 defense in football, 13 seconds. You just got to count for 13 seconds. Your number 1 defense in football. Okay, anyway, point is, they bring in Von Miller, a dimension that they haven't had in the Sean McDermott era. They bring him in, and they got Josh Allen. Great. So, I mean, we're talking about all these teams, and then Green Bay, and Green Bay is my number 5. And Green Bay, you could argue that Green Bay should be higher than 5. I want you to tell me your 5, and I want you to show your work. Tell me why. Green Bay should be higher than 5. The only reason I knocked Green Bay down to 5 is because Davante Adams left. But they brought back Aaron Rodgers, got him a new contract. They have good players on defense, and still got their running backs, got a good running game, got a good offensive line, hired a new special teams coach. That's what, let's put that there. So Green Bay, Pat O'Donnell, yeah, great. Robert Tonyan, great. And then we should put up on there ST Rich Bisaccia, because special teams really killed them when it mattered most against San Francisco. They were in control of that game, and then special teams just broke down as it did most of the season. But larger point, though, is Aaron Rodgers, if you look at his career, Aaron Rodgers' career as a starter, and this is no slight to Davante Adams. Davante, number 1 receiver in football, number 2 receiver in football, number 3, top 3, yeah, all of that. Great production. Yes, awesome. Got the money, deserves the money. Go ahead. I love when people, whether they're athletes, academics, engineers, accountants, get your money. Go ahead, get your money. And if you want to ask for a little bit more, ask for a little bit more. You deserve it. You work hard. But Aaron Rodgers, throughout his career, has made or has boosted, let's put it that way, because made sounds a little too disrespectful. Aaron Rodgers has boosted the talent, the inherent talent of the receivers that have been brought to him. You bring them to Aaron Rodgers, they get better. Now, I know you're saying, well, what about the playoffs? What about the fact he's only been to 1 Super Bowl? Why does he keep choking in the playoffs? Why isn't there any home field advantage at Lambeau? I got that. Okay, we can talk about that. I'm just saying, if Aaron Rodgers, and you talk about his weapons, if you bring a guy to Aaron Rodgers and he's got a little bit of talent, that guy's going to get better. So if Brian Gutekunst has a little bit of sense, and I think he does, you bring Aaron Rodgers, you got multiple first-round picks. You can finally spend a first-round pick on a wide receiver. You can spend a first-round pick on a deep wide receiver draft class, bring them to Aaron Rodgers, and I think the Packers are going to be just fine. Let me ask you this. Let's say it another way. If you're not feeling me on this, if you don't believe me, are you willing to say that Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, who have gone the last 3 years, right, have gone 13-3, 13-3, 13-4, right? Do they go from a 13-win team to a 10-win team because Davante Adams is not there? 13-11? I mean, just look at it that way. Are you willing to say they're a different kind of regular season? Now, postseason is a different conversation, and we'll have that when we get to 2023, January of 2023. That'll be the big story. Aaron Rodgers will have another brilliant season. He'll be in the single digits, interceptions again. Everything will be going well. He'll be in the MVP conversation again. Green Bay will be leading the NFC North again. What are y'all doing in the NFC North? Can y'all get some of what the AFC West has? Can you give the brothers some competition in the NFC North? What are you doing? Chicago, Detroit? What are you doing? Minnesota? What are you doing? Come on, let's go. Anyway, he'll be in this conversation again. and we'll talk about the playoffs. But in the meantime, we'll get there, and you'll look at some of his receivers, and you'll say, wow, this guy's not Devontae Adams, but it's pretty good. That's my top 5. How about yours? Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.